Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah!
All right, hello, True Heel Heat. I'm the AEW World Champion MJF. Just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or since you listen to this podcast, or you're listening to True Heel Heat, and I apologize for that.
What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat.
What's up? True Heel Heat. Check the sounds in. New York, we know where we at. We on the East Coast, but we from the West Coast. But it's all love, dog. True Heel Heat. Yee.
Hey, you fucked that all up.
Well, what do we got over here? Bada boom, Real's one in the room. How you doing? You are listening. Big boobs, huh? And you are listening to True Real Heat. How you doing?
It's True Heel Heat, damn it. True Heels, we are live for the Realist Raw review, rated Raw review number 12, Hunting the Bloodline. We are going to review the February 26th episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. How is everyone doing in the chat? Happy Tuesday. As we get things going along here, I am Romeo Anthony, and joined by the good brother. Here he is, the true heel, SP3.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your true heel phenom, SP3, rated Raw review. I like you taking the A position. It's only because my computer, I don't know what I have to do, but I have to figure something out because it seems like a daily occurrence with our live streams that I'm having issues. So I got to figure something out or get a new laptop, which would be my 4th, but I like you taking the A position. It's nice to be with someone who can take the A position.
Hey, we both can do it.
Yep.
But in this instance, go ahead, man. It's all you for this one.
Which I was really gonna be like, oh, here's the keys. You can drive. But yes, welcome everyone. Rated Raw Review. We are here every Tuesday around 2:05 p.m. Eastern Time to review Monday Night Raw as only me and Romeo can. We appreciate y'all if you are joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show that appreciation back. The simplest way possible is to do that with a thumbs up on the video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We are closing in on 13,000 subscribers. We got some special subscriber videos that we gotta launch for y'all for all the different milestones we've already reached, but another one coming up with 13,000. And of course, most importantly, we love to interact with all of you in our community, in the live chat. So sound off there. If you're watching us on demand, you can comment down below. Let us know what you thought about this week's Monday Night Raw in the comments down below. But if you're with us live, we'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you have a little bit that you can give back. We appreciate it. You can do that with a super chat donation. That make sure that we highlight your comment on screen. If you have a hot take, a thought, a question, it always give back to us. Thank you so much for the support yesterday, because I believe with your support yesterday, Sanal is going to buy that Doki shirt. She told me she's going to buy that Doki shirt. So let's see if we could get Romeo his Drew McIntyre, all the Drew McIntyre Tro shirts that he really wants for his new favorite wrestler in the world.
Yes, please. Can I just share something randomly that I saw on Twitter? I was like, okay, somebody put together this video of, remember that scene in Endgame? But spoiler alert if you haven't seen Endgame, where all the heroes.
Spoiler alert for a 5-year-old movie.
Where all the heroes come together at the end in front of Thanos, right? And they had wrestlers' names lined up for like each superhero. So I understand what they were doing, but they started it with Captain America as Seth Rollins. If Cody Rhodes ain't no damn Captain America, you know who they had Cody Rhodes as? Thor.
The hell?
Why would he be
try to make that make sense? Where did you get that from?
I just came across randomly on my timeline.
This is why you gotta start utilizing your greatest tool, Romeo. Your ability to make memes and stuff, and make memes off of my ideas, because we've been talking, and my ideas and your ideas, we've been mixing our ideas together, and we've come up with the best cast for the Avengers that I've seen on any social media. As far as Cody being Captain America, Seth is Tony Stark. Who did we say is Jey Uso? Jey Uso should be Thor. He's got family issues. He's got brother issues.
Probably.
Then you got who's Sami? Sami is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Can see Sami as Spider-Man, the underdog. And I don't want to think too much about this, but yeah, I already came up with a better cast than that meme that you're referencing.
Maybe we could redo that. Do it right.
You can count on us, folks. But yeah, sound off in the chat. We got Eric Isaac in the chat who says, hey, fellas. We got Safet in the chat who says, sup. We also got Steven Chambers saying, what's up, guys? We got
what's up?
What's up? We got good morning from Kai. We also got Queen Monet who says, hey, guys. Hello. We also got Chuck Berries in the chat who says, what up, dope? We also got Steven Chambers who says Jade is Storm. Storm wasn't a part of Endgame.
She is an artist. We're gonna Photoshop her in.
And we're gonna put in the X-Men. X-Men are in here too, guys. It's all happening. You guys are ridiculous. But yes, it's a lot of fun with the fantasy booking. A lot of stuff going on with Cody Rhodes. We're gonna talk about that. A lot of stuff going on in the women's division, coming out of Elimination Chamber. Before we get into kind of the opening segment, it kind of relates to what I want to talk about here. I put it in the headline for this show. Fans want Liv Morgan at WrestleMania. And I should have preferenced it, but you're only allowed a certain amount of characters, so I had to make it work. It's Liv Morgan fans, but yes, a vast majority of Liv Morgan fans have been very vocal on social media coming out of Elimination Chamber with basically a campaign that Becky Lynch is overpushed and Liv Morgan, they should find a way to get her in to WrestleMania. She deserves the opportunity. Becky never puts anyone over. Liv deserves the opportunity. They should make it a triple threat match. And you would think that from what we saw on this show, they have opened up a possibility that they are acknowledging that these people are saying these things.
And all I can think is, my oh my, how the turntables for Becky Lynch fans who, they were the Liv Morgan fans of now, once upon a time, talking about Charlotte Flair being overbooked, always in the title picture. And now this little engine that could, the Liv Morgan, whatever we call that fan base, we got to think of something about that. They come along and you're getting the treatment that you dished out on poor people like me once upon a time.
Poor people like me, the Ronda Rousey fans.
That too.
The Ronda, they were disgusting. They were disgusting, the Ronda Rousey. Make her not like the business.
Karma is a beautiful thing. I am all for the Liv Morgan movement. I'm gonna just call it that for now. I want this to be as messy as possible. I want
live once movement.
I want war online on social media between both fan bases as I just sit back and eat my popcorn and enjoy.
It's gonna be quite enjoyable. I don't think that Becky Lynch is overpushed. I think that she spent a lot of 2023 getting over other people, whether it be Trish Stratus return run, Zoe Stark, the NXT championship, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, Xia Li she worked with. I think that she did enough. She's been out of the main title picture since SummerSlam of 2022. This is like more than 18 months since then. I think that it was due that Becky Lynch, and this is the match they've been building to since last year's WrestleMania. So I don't think that Becky Lynch is overpushed. I think that Becky Lynch was the right choice to win the Elimination Chamber. And I think that Liv Morgan fans are going to have to give Liv time and the WWE time to trust Liv again, because her first title run, and I don't think I honestly will say, I will not even give Liv Morgan 90% of the blame for her first run not going so well, but we cannot deny that it was a failure. For better or worse, not her fault or not, it was a failure. So you got to give WWE time to be like, okay, she's done enough. She's paid her dues. Let's give her another run. Let's give her another prime position. Let's give her a title match at WrestleMania. You got to give WWE time.
I'm not going to hate it either way if this starts turning into something else. I'm really not. Because, Rhea and Becky's great, but do I need to see a one-on-one at WrestleMania? I don't care. Me personally, I don't care. I don't
Of
care.
course you personally.
I don't.
But you cared about Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair last year with that piss poor build.
That was a good personal story of revenge.
No, this is a personal story. This is a story about who's number one. This is the prototypical WrestleMania story. It's Rock and Austin. It's Hogan and Savage. Who's number one? Who's the best? The two best women, the two most over women, the two biggest stars in the women's division going at it. This is the biggest women's matchup that they could potentially have at WrestleMania.
This is about holding down the little girl, Liv Morgan. What are we doing here? Let Liv live. I'm gonna come up with all kinds of slogans for Liv.
You're trolling me now. We got a super chat donation from, of course, the good brother, Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. As always, he says, I did like how everybody was passed off last night and won a spot on Mania. Felt like 97 Raw. It did feel like everybody was jockeying for a position as far as what they were going to do at WrestleMania. Like immediately after Elimination Chamber was the last spot. There's already matches being made for WrestleMania. Everybody's jockeying for position, whether it be the Intercontinental title scene with getting the opportunity at Gunther at the pay-per-view, whether it be, the women kind of trying to get big wins and get into the tag team title scene, it seems like. So I like that.
Yeah, it's not mentioned in the headline in this review, but I thought the whole Gunther IC stuff was the most interesting of them all to me. Because you had people debating back and forth, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get there? Because there are a lot of people that are worthy, and you could see getting a shot at Gunther. So how are we going to settle this?
Yeah, we were talking about on, I believe it was the Elimination Chamber review, as well as on True Hill Heat this week, about how potentially coming out of the men's Elimination Chamber match, they set up the and we kind of talked about it on the preview about how they could do the six man for the US Championship, a ladder match at WrestleMania. But coming off of this show, it feels like they're positioning a lot of guys that it seems like the Intercontinental title might be in that position as well.
But here's my thing, and I'll just get into this now. Gunther's built up this IC title. This reign has been tremendous, amazing. He should take a pin and give that to someone else. I don't like the idea of, like, if you do a ladder match, let's say, that Gunther's not involved in the decision. He loses that way and he just moves on. It's okay for Gunther to lose one time. It's okay, because he's gonna get heated right back up to go to the World Championship picture. It's gonna be fine. He's gonna get past it. I feel like this needs to give somebody something. It's not just enough climbing a ladder and pulling the title down.
Unfortunately, it's like, yeah, but do you want to do like a 6-pack challenge? Because they position a lot of guys. It's not just like the obvious ones, like they did the face-to-face on the show with one guy. Another guy kind of gave his plea because of his past rivalry with Gunther. But then they had the big in-ring segment with the biggest group in the company right now at the same time. And then he's also teasing something with the guy that just came back. So they threaded a lot of stuff. It was very good throughout the show, and it was the big kind of takeaway from the show, where I feel like they kind of positioned themselves in a corner of the Intercontinental title ladder match is the only position to go.
So here's what I do. You could do it both ways, where everybody wins. You have 2 nights of Mania. One night you have all the contenders. You have some kind of multi-man match. You want to make that a ladder match with a contract? Sure, do it. Whatever. I wouldn't make it a ladder match because the guy has to wrestle Gunther the next match.
That would be smart though, because you can do one ladder match on one night and the other ladder match on the other.
You could do that.
You could do the number one contenders on night 1, and then the US title in ladder match on night 2.
Yeah, however you want to do it, but I want the one-on-one Gunther match on night 2.
I feel you. I can understand that. And I honestly thought, that's the right move for them to do. As far as the Liv Morgan controversy, we got Queen of Monet who says, my thing with Liv is she was never considered for the spot, because if Liv never got hurt, she probably would have lost to Rhea months ago. She was never in the conversation to face Rhea at Mania. I absolutely agree with you. I feel like it's a story that can be built and they can play off of the certain things, whether it be their being tag team partners. And Liv mentioned that in her promo last week. And then her breaking up with Liv in their tag team directly led to her being in Judgment Day and propelled her to the next level. And Liv feels like she was left behind, but at the same time, Liv won Money in the Bank and won the SmackDown Women's Championship. So she's not that far behind. They were the first 2 in last year's Royal Rumble and made it to the final 2. She was the last one to get eliminated in this year's Royal Rumble. So they can make a story out of that. But that's a good story for SummerSlam. That's a good story for Night of Champion. That's a good story for Paris, for Backlash. That's not the story of WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the biggest stars and the biggest matches, and Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley is much bigger than Liv versus Rhea Ripley.
Well, too bad, because hashtag we want Liv.
No, he's trolling me, guys. He's just trolling, guys. We got Will Chisholm with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Will. Always the biggest supporter that we know here. He says it's funny how the only 4 horsewomen people like now is Bayley, a babyface in everybody's heart. Yes. Yeah. I mean, people like Mercedes Moné.
People love Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, people love. Yeah, people love Mercedes Moné. I really feel like Big Business is doing over 900,000. That show is doing 900,000, which is a big up from what they've been doing lately. They've been 800, 820. It's gonna be at least 900. It can potentially be a million if they promote it properly.
It better be 900. Happy milliversary, by the way, 1 year.
Yeah, that's the floor. That's the floor. It has to be at least 900. Because it should be, because you have new fans in the Mercedes fans. There are Mercedes fans that never watched AEW that are going to watch this show.
There should be plenty of people who watch WWE regularly who want to see Mercedes debut. So it should be a million. Like, I expect a million. It has to be. There should be enough fans in the WWE universe scope that left watching AEW. Maybe they were watching for CM Punk. I don't know why so many people have fell off. But they should come back for one night only.
Yeah. But like the funny thing about the comment here is he says it's funny how the only 4 horsewomen people like now is Bayley, a babyface in everybody's heart. It feels like everybody just likes Bayley. Like when you think about all the other 4 horsewomen, and it's an interesting conversation because I never really thought about it until this super chat. Mercedes, she got the stand, she got the crew, they got the whole title for them. Becky Lynch, she got her own fan base. They ride hard for her. We got one of the number ones, Stephanie Hypes, on our channel here.
Even more annoying fan base than Mercedes. Not you, Stephanie. Stephanie's okay.
And arguably on the same level, you have Charlotte Flair, who you represent that, and there's a lot of the fans. There are some
smaller
fans
base
that are
smaller base.
It's smaller. That's what I'm going. I went from the biggest with Mercedes. Mercedes has the biggest fan base out of the 4 horsewomen. Becky would then be second, but it seems like Becky is more wider stream, it's kind of considered a bigger star because she made it to a higher level in WWE than Mercedes, but that can all change depending on what Mercedes does in AEW. And then you have Charlotte, who our fans are going to ride for her regardless of what people say. They're a smaller base, but they're right underneath them. I never heard of Bayley fan base, though. I've never even heard of that.
Well, I'm in the Bayley fan base. It's just I like Charlotte more.
No, you're a Charlotte fan.
Yes, I
you
like.
You can only be. That's what I'm saying. Everybody likes Bayley. Like Bayley is there. Like if you ask everybody in those different fan bases, if you ask what's your number 2 horsewoman, I guarantee you a majority in all 3 fan bases would be like Bayley.
Yes, because
but there's no Bayley. There's no number 1 Bayley stand like that.
There's hatred and vitriol.
It used to be when she was in NXT. There was something growing there, and then the main roster and how they treated her completely ruined that.
There's like hatred and vitriol between Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha fans. They don't get that towards Bayley, especially the Sasha fans, because Bayley's like best friend. So I don't have the hatred towards Bayley that I could get into it with Becky fans. I could get into it with Mercedes fans.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's interesting. It's very interesting. I didn't think about it.
We might be all one united front, rooting for Bayley here this WrestleMania.
I mean, I'm rooting for her to get respect. I've been a part of the Bayley army.
They've been keeping her off the posters. Just recently, they'll be like, "All right, here, damn, she's on it."
They've been disrespecting her. That's all I know. We got another super chat donation from another person who's been a big supporter. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries. Chuck Berries, Been a good brother. We appreciate you. He says you can only have one triple threat match per WrestleMania. I believe the U.S. title will be defended in a triple threat match this year. So he's what?
I don't think so.
What are you thinking? He's thinking what? Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton.
But then you also you can do AJ and Styles and LA Knight in a singles match. I think they're involved too.
Well, the always unreliable as of late, Dave Meltzer reported that LA Knight and AJ Styles and Logan Paul and Randy Orton is the plan for WrestleMania.
4-way?
No, it's
two separate
Logan and Orton, and it's LA Knight and AJ Styles.
I think it's all one big multi-man match. I don't think it's a triple threat match. Your triple threat match will be Rhea, Becky, and Liv. There's your triple threat match, Chuck.
I think we keep setting this man up to troll. Queen Monet saying, please, no more hashtags.
Mm-mm. We want Liv.
Eric Isaac says, who are the bigger crybabies, the Cody fans or Liv fans?
Well, it's about to be Liv. The Cody crybabies got what they wanted. Now the Liv crybabies are like, oh, you gonna give it to him? That's
what I said. They set a bad precedent. They set a bad precedent by listening. They should have just went with Rock and Roman. They should have just said, you know what?
You had it right in your hands. That's what The Rock said.
Poof. Disappears. Stephen Chambers with a pretty good question. That's why I'm going to feature it here. He says, how many buys AEW Revolution going to be? A lot because of Sting's last match. Because of Sting's last match and the lineup, I'm thinking 200,000.
I don't know what they've been doing recently, how to
their highest I believe is 210 or 220 for All Out 2021. I think that did that, and I think AEW All In did 190. But I count the 190, the 10,000 that I'm giving to AEW Revolution. I'm accounting for the fact that that's going to be at a reasonable time for America. In the afternoon on a Sunday, people might be doing other stuff, might be out with the family, ain't going to be watching All In. So I that's why I account for that.
I could buy what you're selling there, pun intended.
Yeah. And we got one more super chat donation before we get into this week's show. I feel like I'm doing AE Ramble. We appreciate you, Will Chisholm. Thank you. Like Josh says in the chat, we missed you on Sunday. We did. He says, Will says, I think Liv turns heel, and after Mania, she has a program with Becky. And at SummerSlam, they do Liv versus Rhea because they teasing a Rhea babyface turn. I think they're 100% Rhea Ripley will be a babyface by the end of 2024. I think that Rhea Ripley may be a babyface by the end of the spring. That's how confident it looks like from the seeds that they sowed, even on this episode.
I mean, Liv sort of her edge and attitude is going up. But do the Liv fans want that? Do they want her to turn heel? I guess beggars can't be choosers, right? I mean, hey, you could get Liv, in the picture, but we're going to turn her heel, just so you know, because it fits our storylines better. I don't know. We'll see.
That works better for them. That's all it's about. It's not about what we want, folks. It's about
we want Liv. Yeah.
I don't want Liv. Not in this.
What is your 100% honest opinion about Liv Morgan? From a fan point of view, not from a reviewer point of view.
From a fan point of view?
Yes.
Okay. I don't understand that question because I kind of have merged.
Well, you have your favorites and all that stuff. How does Liv Morgan fall for you?
I'm a unique beast, though, because I have merge my fandom with being a reviewer and an analyst of what's going on. So the best thing I could say is Liv Morgan is a B+ player. She's not. I think
that's a good little spot for you, Liv.
That's a good little spot for you, Liv. I'm just saying, I've said it once, I'll say it again, I'll say it 1,000,000 times. There are people especially WWE's women's division, There are the stars that are on this level. They're the stars on this level, stars on this level, and then there's everybody else underneath. They have 3 tiers, and then there's everybody else underneath. They'll pair them up, put them in a tag team. And if I was putting them on tiers, up top, it's Rhea and Becky. Rhea and Becky up top. You got in the little corner up top, resting up is Charlotte. And trying to climb to the top, you got Io. You got Bailey. Bailey's really there, but they keep like shoving her. They keep shoving her off the ledge.
We don't want you.
We don't want you. We don't want you. We don't
Did you say
consider
Bianca?
you
She's up
here.
there.
Bianca is like, yeah, she's climbing. She's climbing. It feels like Bianca was there, but they just was like, no, we gotta kind of get you like right here.
Somebody's
so
pulling her hair.
Climb. Yeah, they're like pulling by the hair. That's how Io's climbing up. She's pulling Bianca's hair. And then you got the next tier of people that are just gonna be there. They're not gonna climb. And I think that's where Liv is at. She's in good company. She's there with like Asuka, Kyrie. I feel like Chelsea's climbing up to that level with her character work. Raquel's in that level, one of her good friends. Like, she's in that good level, but I don't think she's ever going to climb even to that top level.
You know, Liv reminds me of WWE Paige. Like, she's not, like, Paige is not as good as some of the names you mentioned that are on top, not in my opinion. But her fan base is just so passionate about her that it makes her feel like a bigger deal.
I think that, yeah, Paige was probably on the same like work rate level as Liv Morgan. Yeah. Even at her peak before the injuries, yeah, I think that's where like Saraya Paige was at. Yeah, I agree with you. We got Power Driver Finisher says, I'm a Liv fan. I get she's not realistic in terms of wrestling, but what's wrong with wanting some eye candy in the ring every now and again?
A very archaic way of thinking, Pile Driver Finisher.
He kept it real. We got Power Driver Finisher says, yo, SP3, have you seen Power? Have I seen Power?
What are you
I
asking?
am
No
what kind of question is that? I'm a mark.
No
I'm a
spoilers.
Power mark. I've seen all 6 seasons. I've seen all, what is it now? 6, 7 seasons of the spinoffs. Yeah, I'm a Power mark. We're gonna be doing Power reviews over on the True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment channel. Power Driver Finisher. Anyone else in the chat who's a Power fan or not a Power fan and wants to learn about Power, you can go over and subscribe and let me know if you want me to start at like base level Power, like original Power, instead of like jumping into like the most recent season and reviewing that and talking about it. I might do a live stream to talk about Power. If you want me to start at the base level beginning of Power, let me know in the live chat.
When I get some time here, I'm going to review the first episode of The Ones Who Live, the Walking Dead spinoff with Rick and Michonne, which just happened this Sunday on the Sports and Entertainment channel. Subscribe over there.
Sweet. Love to hear that. But let's get into Monday Night Raw from February 26, 2024. What did you think about the crowd in San Jose, California?
The crowd was good. They delivered.
They definitely did. California has been a hot spot for them.
Oh, yeah.
Last week's Raw was really good. I don't think I will preference this as far as like a spoiler on what I will think about overall thoughts on the show. I don't think this show was as good as last week though.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
The crowd, like, I noticed like the front row, like they were on their feet a lot.
Yeah.
Even when they didn't have to be.
They did. But yeah, the show opened up with Michael Cole announcing that Raw was sold out, 13,491 in attendance. We see Drew McIntyre and Becky Lynch, the winners of the Elimination Chamber, arriving at the building. We get a long video package of the Elimination Chamber. Then we open up with Dominic Mysterio in the ring, getting booed out the building as he introduces the WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Bloody Ripley, whom he called the greatest women's champion of all time. Cole noted that Ripley's match against Lynch at WrestleMania will be their first match in 4 years. Ripley welcomed us to Monday Night Mommy. The crowd cheered and chanted, "Mommy, Mommy." Ripley said she walked in and out of her own country as the champion. Nia Jax might have been her biggest threat, but despite being from down under, Mommy was always on top. This led to her WrestleMania opponent, Becky Lynch, coming out to the ring to confront her, the champion. Lynch congratulated Ripley. She said Ripley's family got to watch Ripley win in her own country, and at least now they wouldn't have to fly halfway across the world to watch her lose at WrestleMania. Dom tries to interrupt and says, "Don't talk to Mommy like that," but Lynch cuts him off and calls him a dirty little kumquat. Awesome stuff. She says that if Mommy wouldn't put him in his place, then the man would. Lynch said that Ripley spent the year on top as the face of the company while being fed grapes by Dirty Dom and the rest of Judgment Day. But during that time, Becky was the backbone, the heart, and the soul of this company, and became a Grand Slam champion, and did it all while writing a best-selling book. Lynn says she can do it all, including beat Rhea Bloody Ripley, and she did the accent, which was great. Ripley told her to not disrespect her Latino heat ever again. Ripley said that it was about time Lynch won something to get her close enough to her level. The man always thought they were the backbone of everything. But Rhea says that behind every great man was a greater woman. But she was not behind Lynch at all because, like she always says, Mommy was always on top. Love that line by Rhea. As Rhea leaves, she drops the mic. She goes out the ring. Becky's distracted looking at Rhea long enough for Nia Jax to attack Becky Lynch from behind, hitting consecutive leg drops onto the number one contender for the WWE Women's World Championship. Nia sets her up for the Annihilator when a bunch of officials and security come out to stop her to end our opening segment. I thought this was a good promo from Becky Lynch, good promo from Rhea Ripley. You can tell that this was kind of like an opening salvo for their first like major build. Like they did the kind of teases that gave us a little bit more promo material, especially from Becky's side. And I'm hoping that Becky has a little bit more material and one-liners, but it felt like this was kind of Rhea's chance to kind of say her piece, and she really was the stronger of the two here in this exchange. And I like Nia coming out, which we expected because Nia was the last one to beat Becky before she won the Elimination Chamber.
Right. I enjoyed this exchange. Interesting because the Rhea Nia feud is over. So they put Rhea in front of a live crowd right back next to Dom, which is something they were not doing during the Nia feud. So they're trying to get some kind of booze, I guess, for Rhea, just having Dom there, but it ain't working. Because
Becky got booed here.
Yes, the crowd's still gonna cheer Rhea. You're gonna learn that sooner or later. Nia going after Becky is what we expected, what we talked about on this review for weeks. It's a short program before they really dive into Becky Rhea. She's got to slay that demon off her record, understandably. So focus on that, and it's a good way to fill some time on the road to Mania before we get to Mommy versus Man versus Liv.
Absolutely. We got.
Oh, you didn't catch that?
Mommy
versus Man versus Liv.
I'm ignoring you. I'm ignoring all of your trolling. I'm ignoring all of your trolling.
SP3 said absolutely. He's on board.
Mommy versus Man. That's all I heard. I didn't hear that last part. We got Power Driver Finisher says, I'm with SP3. He says, I just finished Force and I'm in season 3 of Power. Wow. What? Why would you finish Force and then go to season 3 of the regular Power? Or do you mean season 3 of Raising Kanan? I'm confused. But nah, all of them are good. All of them are very good. Raising Kanan might be my favorite though. We got here another super chat donation, I believe, from Will Chisholm, who says, my problem is AEW hasn't been talking about the show Mercedes is going to be on, because with Punk, it was a tease of Punk like every week. They can do better. It wasn't a tease of Punk every week. it was something said. They had an ad run. They would hype it. And that's what AEW is doing for Mercedes Moné. They had the Darby say the little promo line, and they had little subtle teases and stuff like that. And maybe if someone has an eagle eye, you might see that they have been teasing this a little bit from the sidelines. You just need someone with the eagle eye to get the Easter eggs. I think that they've been pushing it very hard. They already have 7,000 tickets sold. They need to open it up to make it 10,000 to pack in there to really see how much of a live ticket draw that she's going to be for them going in the future. But I mean, I will say they can do better, but I wouldn't say that it's a problem and say they haven't been talking about it.
It does say boss done on the poster. I would just announce she's gonna be there. Just go ahead, and we already know. Just announce it, and then just open up the extra seats, make the extra money.
Yeah,
I mean, because some people, there's just some fans out there, no clue what's going on, and you just need to tell them. Oh, she's gonna be there. All right, I'll get my ticket now. Some people, there's just some wrestling fans who are like that. You gotta expect that.
Yeah, you have to hit them over the head. You have to tell them.
Yes, beat them into submission. Remember her?
We got another super chat donation from the good brother Will Chisholm. Thank you, Will. He says, it is crazy how Liv is the one who's trying to move up, and Ruby Soho is stuck in a bad dating anger. What happened to the runaway? I actually like the storyline that she's in. Like, it started off as like something that was a throwaway, but I like the fact that they've included so many people. They were able to introduce Saraya's brother very naturally into this whole thing, and how he works into the whole storyline with Saraya saying that she was going to fix up her brother with Ruby Soho when he got his visa fixed. I love that they played off of the real life thing of it took him a while to get here and she's been waiting to fix them up, and she ruined that by going with Cool Hand, and that explained why she never wanted Cool Hand to be with Ruby. So it's made sense. It is a story. If you're enjoying it or not, that's up to you. I like the fact that they've been able to use so many people.
I think his point is that, Ruby's, there's like, what is she heading to? Like, she's not going to be in the women's title picture anytime soon. Liv at least has a chance here. I guess that's what he really means.
I mean, I rather somebody be in a fun angle, and I'm not alone. I'm glad I'm not alone. I thought I was gonna be alone saying this. I thought you were all gonna bury me for liking this, but I think it has been fun. I agree with Emmanuel. We got Frantic World who also says the Ruby Soho Parker storyline is so fun and funny. We got Power Driver Finisher who says I need soap opera. The thing is an actual storyline, shows effort as opposed to just setting up matches. Yeah, what was the last storyline of substance that Liv Morgan was a part of? What? Rhea Ripley injuring her because she got injured for real?
Wow. The AEW fans like soap opera? Just wrestle. I don't want to hear no talking. I thought that's what it was.
I don't need soap opera, but I need a story. And that's what I like about the Revolution card is that every match has a story to it. Even if they wanted to add Ruby Soho and Cool Hand versus Saraya and her brother, that has a story to it.
On the buy-in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. On 0 hour. Yeah, not on the main card. We got 9 matches on the main card, man. I need all my matches to get room to breathe. But yes. Kicking off the show in ring action, we had Sami Zayn going one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura, a rematch from 2 weeks ago's main event. The Sami Zayn on the road to WrestleMania. He's been dealing with a lot of kind of insecurity as well as some doubts after his series of losses. So he came out here in a flurry and went immediately to commercial break, like right after like 2 moves. I noted that in here. And they actually came back from a commercial with the Jax interview and then Nakamura's entrance. I'll get to the Jax interview right after this. But yeah, Zayn did the moonsault off the barricade to bring us to the first commercial. We went to another commercial after a couple of near falls, and then the match really started going. We got Nakamura, who is completely brutalizing Sami Zayn with these knees to the back of the head. He hit one off the top rope that hit Zayn flush in the back of the head. He hit one where he hangs Zayn on the barricade and hit him right there. They did the zoom and the close-up, so you saw the knee hitting his back of the head. But Sami somehow, some way, was able to fight back. He got a series of near falls with the Blue Thunder Bomb, with a Michinoku driver. Eventually, Nakamura made one mistake, and Zayn was able to recover. He hits a surprise haluva kick to the back of the head, and then he rallies up. Nakamura gets up. He gets a second haluva kick right to the face to pick up a huge, crucial win as Sami Zayn picks up a W on the road to WrestleMania. The crowd popped for this one. They seem to enjoy the match as well. It seemed to be very much into the match, especially after the second commercial break. I really liked this one. I thought it was very good. What did you think about this opening here?
Damn good TV match with a hot crowd. The crowd is into Sami Zayn. They built up to the ending well. Got a loud response for the pin. And Sami is back. Sami is back on the scoreboard. Put the word out on the streets. Sami Zayn is back.
He is back. He's getting his mojo back. His mojo is back. As far as the Nia Jax interview that we had before this matchup, it was Jackie Redmond interviewing her, and Nia simply said there was no way Lynch should be going to WrestleMania after Jax beat her clean last time. Jax said that Liv Morgan would get 10 times worse than what Becky got earlier tonight. So that was setting up the next match later in the show with Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. Any comments on the interview?
Nope.
We had a video recapping the feud between Imperium and the New Day. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston were sure arriving at the building earlier today. They announced that Diamond Dallas Page, Pat McAfee, Nia Jax, and CM Punk would be among those added with the season pass for WWE 2K24.
Better be in the damn game. You kidding me? Better be. Got breaking news, SP3. Breaking WWE news.
Oh, you got breaking news?
Yep.
What is it?
From the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Tama Tonga is headed to WWE.
I mean, I could have told you that.
I know. That was all our guess.
Yeah.
Dave wanted a W on his record.
He was like, I gotta get one right. He was like, please guys, let me know. Please, guys, I'm begging you. I'm begging. He's talking to every Tongan he's ever met and talking to in his life to get this one thing right.
Do you think he's the NXT guy that they've been teasing?
Yeah, that was my guess. I think that's the place where he can make an immediate impact, and I think that he can have a top position. He's the type of guy that I can see them immediately putting against like a Dragunov at TakeOver or Stand and Deliver. Sorry,
we need to build out this bloodline. If Cody's gonna assemble the team,
come on, he's Tongan. They didn't even include him and Haku on the tree. No, you can't do that.
We make a new blood oath.
You're wild.
We had the Tongans.
Now y'all wild. See, this is why you can't give some of these fans nothing. Can't give them nothing. Yeah, you give it an inch, you want a mile? Like, what are you doing? I love dogs. Thank you for the confirmation. The news has been broken. We got Steven Chambers, who says, put Peppermint in good use with the Emmys, writing storyline, Parker and Ruby with Saraya and her brother. Yeah, wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. Maybe we've been already seeing that she's been working for them on the low. I said the AEW poster.
Do we know what she won an Emmy for specifically or no?
It was like daytime writing. Daytime.
Like a soap opera?
Daytime soap opera.
Perfect.
Yeah. Steven Chambers says, good man, Sami and Nakamura. Sami needed that win. Yeah, it felt like a big win, despite it being over somebody who always loses. Next up, Chelsea Green coming out before the matchup. Chelsea says that she would have won the Elimination Chamber match if she was in it instead of Raquel Rodriguez. She mocked Rodriguez for flying all the way to Australia just to lose. She was a big loser, just like the San Jose Sharks. Rodriguez comes out. She's laughing off Chelsea. I believe once again she's not wearing like any of the makeup due to her MCAS. But This doesn't stop her at all. Raquel makes quick work, hits a big clothesline, consecutive fallaway slams, the Tejada bomb. This went about a minute and 18 seconds. It was a match.
I gotta talk to you about Chelsea Green because Chelsea Green is she's so amazing on the microphone.
She's great.
Her character is great. But do you think they could get away with her just being absolutely miserable in the I don't want to say miserable in the ring, just like she's not a threat. Like they don't let her look like a threat.
I feel like
they treat her like a Santino.
I'm not sure if this is the time for it, but in a company that just 6-7 years ago had Alexa Bliss and Carmella as the champions with 2 women's championships, I would not mind a Chelsea Green title run. Chelsea Green, I feel, is a better worker than both of those girls.
I feel like they let Alexa and Carmella work more than they ever let Chelsea do.
Yeah, because I feel like WWE penalize people who are good before they get to WWE. They allowed Alexa and Carmella to wrestle because they developed them from the beginning. Chelsea came in a proven product. They had her potential to grab her up early, and they chose not to. And she got her experience outside. She made a name for herself outside. She came there. She went there. She went through NXT. She got called up, gets injured, gets released, does even better the next time around when she's outside of WWE, whether it was in TNA, the independent scene with Matt Cardona. That whole act is a money act, whether it be in WWE, outside WWE. And then she comes back, and I like the role. It's a good character. It's a fun character. It's always entertaining, but I would love to see her have more because she deserves more because she's so talented and she works very hard.
Yeah, whenever you're ready to take that next step, you gotta have her be presented more seriously in ring. She can still be your same character, but she has to be more of a threat. Like she has to win matches. You know, win matches because of her.
Yeah, power driver finishers. Yeah, that's what she's been doing. She looks so good losing, in my opinion. Yeah, like they made she's so good she can make losing look great. So they just keep making her lose. Steven and I worry that they might have her go down the road of a Kurt Hawkins more than a Carmella. Might just make her the loser.
Whatever happened to that Kurt Hawkins?
Hey, he's doing pretty well in other places. He might follow a system. Well, we got a super chat donation from Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries. You've been helping us out a lot here. He says, I am Team Bayley. Add this disrespect to her from WWE has been absurd. To have the show in San Jose and not even have her appear on it is bad. I will say it feels like we're not going to pick up on the Bayley and Io stuff until this week's SmackDown. I feel like the Dakota Kai turn is going to happen on this week's SmackDown, and maybe they pick things up. But I totally agree with you. They have been disrespecting Bayley. I'm not necessarily viewing her not being on this show because she's not on the Raw roster as that disrespect, though.
If I'm a person who lives in San Jose, I would have liked if you would have had her on the dark match. I'd have stuck around for that.
Yeah. That's true. They had Cody when they were in Atlanta, and he's not on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's not asking
that's
for
true.
much.
That's true. That is a good point.
And they're in the West Coast anyway. They're in Arizona on Friday.
And they probably advertised her too. But you got Power Driver Finisher. He says, like I feel she does so well just feeding her opponent's moves, and her losing adds so much to her character, similar to Toni Storm, without having to become a black and white washed up movie star. Yes, it adds to the character where she can do the complaint, but it's how long does that have legs? And I don't know if that has too much legs in a WWE form of storytelling.
Yeah, because if she ever wins, it's almost like it's a fluke, instead of her actually earning. You got to be somewhat respectable to be a wrestler in WWE. You got to come off somewhat respectable.
It's true. We got another super chat donation from the good brother Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will, for the big super chat donation here. He says, now it makes sense who the good brothers is now in NXT. I think they win the tag titles and Tama Tonga wins the NXT title as Stand and Deliver. We know they're going to do it SP3. I won't front. I would be so down with this. I would be so down with this because, man, good brothers, y'all sat at home and got paychecks, and then y'all come back to win some tag team titles and open the door for Tama to come in.
And then what? They're a faction together?
Yeah. A new OC.
We get to hang out with each other in NXT. You get to chill in Florida. Oh, they
Chill in
love it. Good
Florida.
brothers
They
are down for that.
love it. Oh, man. Good brothers like, I don't have to travel. I don't have to be away from my family. Oh,
They fucking love it.
Fuck AJ.
It's
AJ can be on his own.
Listen, I love the Good Brothers. It's amazing how much money they've stolen from WWE.
Yo,
Good for them, though. Good. I'm jealous. Good for them.
Yo, your Good Brothers is the ultimate businessman. They took what Scott Hall and Kevin Nash always talked about, and they took it to the next level, to the next generation. That's what they have done.
Yeah.
Do less, make more. That's what they're all about.
Are you cool with the idea of Tama Tonga and NXT?
I am. I'm all for it. He's not Okada. It's okay for him to go. Like Balor set that precedent. Jackie Redmond is interviewing Sami Zayn, who says that he needed tonight's win. A loss tonight would have been devastating to him, and not just for his road to WrestleMania. Tonight's win reaffirmed his belief that he was a contender and a path would come his way, he would find it. Excuse me. Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci kind of interrupted here. They walked by with a disgusted look. But then the Intercontinental Champion Gunther walked in and approached Sami Zayn. He got in his face. He laughed. And then he walked off as Sami Zayn chuckled because it seems that he might have found his path to WrestleMania. The crowd popped for the sight of Gunther and Sami Zayn going face to face here. What did you think about this first tease of the night for a potential opponent for Gunther at WrestleMania?
I thought that was it. I thought,
yeah, that's all I needed.
Sammy's path to Mania found him. And then Sami knew right away, and see on his face. I was like, oh, that's it. That's the title match at Mania. That's it. But then, now I don't know. I don't know if that's the title match at Mania. Now it's just not, now you start teasing everybody else too. But I like that, WrestleMania, it needs that classic Intercontinental title workings man match at WrestleMania every year. It's got to mean something. And I just want it to be one-on-one. I already spoke on it earlier.
Yeah. Emmanuel saying Tama Tonga is going to be 40 in NXT. I will give you a list of people who were in their late 30s and 40s in NXT. Bobby Roode, LA Knight, Damian Priest. Like there is a lot of guys that have been in their late 30s, early 40s in NXT. If you go back to like your James Storms, your Tyson Kidds, you're like, well, no, I think Tyson Kidd was younger, but yeah, there's a lot of guys. They're veterans that have been in NXT. It's just a start in the WWE. They got to introduce him.
I think that's 100% okay, because it also helps you with the kids. Like it's good to have veterans in there in the ring with these kids to lead them and show them the way. Like it helps their improvement even better. You can't have kids leading kids. Not all the time.
We got Antoine who says, if Captain America Cody don't win after announcing gender of baby after Raw went off air.
Is there anything this man cannot do? This guy's doing gender reveals. He's going to weddings. He's going to be someone's best man. This guy's the ultimate baby face. He's not no damn four.
The ultimate baby face. We got Cody, who's interviewed backstage by Kathy Kelly. She wondered if challenging The Rock was a smart strategy this close to WrestleMania. Cody said it wasn't really about strategy. It was simple. Rock slapped him across the face, and he challenged him to a match. Rhodes looked forward to Rock's rebuttal on SmackDown. Kelly asked about Grayson Waller, and Rhodes said that he liked Grayson Waller enough and said that Waller should like him. He said on his first appearance on the Grayson Waller effect, Rhodes brought back Jey Uso Road to Raw. Then he gave him the exclusive announcement of his challenge to The Rock in his home country of Australia at Elimination Chamber. And tonight, Waller got to be in the Raw main event for the very first time, where he gets to find out. I don't know what that meant, but all right.
Because he fucked around, so now he's gonna find out.
He fucked around and find out.
But once I heard this, I was like, damn, no biggie. There's not gonna be no biggie return tonight, because I really thought Imperium and New Day were gonna main event for a second here. Until I heard this promo, I was like, oh come on, Cody and Grayson, really?
I knew when they put the video online that Grayson Waller was at Raw. I was like, Cody and Grayson's gonna main event the show. That seems more like what they're gonna do. But speaking of Imperium, Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, was next out. He enters with Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci. Gunther admits that Jey Uso almost had him beat last week. He felt the Intercontinental Championship slipping away from him for the first time. He got lucky, and nobody was perfect, but I am very, very close. Gunther has been working hard for more than 600 days to make the IC title the most prestigious in WWE, and he wondered who his opponent would be at WrestleMania. Gunther says that he doesn't live under a rock, and he saw what the people were saying. He said he mentions all the potential challengers, like your Sami Zayns, your Chad Gable, that got a good pop, The Miz got no pop.
No pop.
R-Truth got the biggest pop.
Yep.
Judgment Day, though, was next to come out, interrupting our Intercontinental Champion. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough get into the ring and confront the Imperium. Priest says that they didn't sweat Gunther, whose impressive run was still second to the run of the Judgment Days. Judgment Day ran the table at Elimination Chamber, and they planned on doing the same at WrestleMania. But they wanted to add some gold at WrestleMania, and that included Gunther's Intercontinental Championship. Gunther wondered who would be his challenger from the Judgment Day. Would it be Finn Balor? Will it be the one with the big head, referencing his former rival in the UK, JD McDonough? Then it was none other than Dominic Mysterio, who stepped up as the crowd booed and Gunther laughed. Dom said that the title belonged to them and he was going to be the one who took it. Gunther then shoved Dom, which led to Priest getting very upset and trying to go after the Intercontinental Champion, but his buddies held him back. And then I'm going to put everything here in a bow to finish up our Intercontinental title teases. Because immediately after the commercial break, we see the Judgment Day backstage after this encounter with Gunther and Imperium. And Rhea Ripley is not too pleased with Dom as she questions him. She says, "Really? Gunther of all people?" Ripley, Dom says he's got it. He'll take care of it, mommy. Mommy walks away, and Balor tells Dom that he better go smooth things out with her. Dom goes to smooth things out, but he walks into none other than Andrade. And they are former friends, apparently, as Dom says it's good to see him. They start speaking in Spanish a little bit. He says that Andrade, before Dom walks away, he tells him that he was on his way to Adam Pearce's office to discuss his next opponent or his first opponent back. And Dom was like, oh, whatever, man. Acted kind of oblivious and took off, but it seemed like Andrade was scheming to have Dom be his first opponent for for his debut, his in-ring return to WWE. And then the final tease that we got on the show was from Chad Gable, who approached Adam Pearce in his office. And basically, he wanted to plead to be the opponent for Gunther at WrestleMania. He says that he's not just here as a competitor, but as a father. Gable came so close to beating Gunther, but that's not what haunted him. What haunted him was his daughter being reduced to tears What haunted him was Gunther laughing at her misery and calling him a bad father. To anyone else, this was just a championship, but to him, it just meant more. Pierce understood, and honestly, man, Gable gave the best argument. Sammy's got the most momentum. There's a lot of people who have good arguments. Dom being in there, Dom and Gunther would just be so much fun. Oh my God, Gunther
would turn Gunther babyface.
It would turn him babyface, and he would just beat the crap out of Dom. It would be great. But yeah, there's just a lot of potential here with all the people jockeying for position with Gunther.
So much to talk about here. Gunther getting the rite of passage, man. The Judgment Day interruption while you're doing a promo. Like, everybody has to get that. Everybody.
That's when you know you're a top star.
I was thinking so many things watching this. I was like, man, because I didn't know where they're going. Like, I was like, is Gunther going to take out all these guys before Mania? Are we going to do the Gunther gauntlet? Maybe that's the match, like, to see who faces Gunther. The crowd seemed hyped wanting to see Priest and Gunther, which was kind of surprising. I'm down with that, but I don't think we're going to get that. They got to focus on their tag titles at WrestleMania. And I wouldn't mind Finn and Gunther. Remember, we were supposed to get that once upon a time before the pandemic ruined it in NXT UK. And Finn didn't do any teases with that. So, but and then Andrade.
Finn is not. They realize Finn's not a believable singles competitor. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I know there's gonna be a bunch of people, but every time y'all mention a potential, Finn Balor could be. It's like, do you remember that Seth Rollins feud? Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening.
He's not gonna win.
But he's not gonna win, and he's not gonna be believable in that position for a while now. That did damage. That's why he's better off in a tag team.
Andrade, man, what a deal if you can work out Dominic to be your first match. Wow. Good negotiating. And then Chad Gable, a part of me was like, really? You're gonna use your daughter to try and get a match at WrestleMania? Are you kidding me? But hey, it worked. Yeah, he put his daughter out in front. But it worked, and it made, I'm sure, resonated with a lot of people out there watching that they want to see Gable be the guy to do it for his family. Even though they love Sami Zayn, that's saying a lot. If you can, in the viewer's eyes, if you can leapfrog Sami Zayn, that's saying a lot. If you could do that,
yeah, it's gonna take a lot though. Because I keep saying, like, I've seen, good friends of the channel or people on the channel like Stephanie Hypes and Sat today talk about how they feel like Chad Gable is the right guy to face Gunther at WrestleMania and beat Gunther at WrestleMania. And I'm like, it's going to take a lot of work in the next 6 weeks to make that believable and to give him the same type of momentum that he had last year. But they need to make it even more because it's WrestleMania. And it's a good story. It's a good start with the promo that we got here with Adam Pearce. It's a better start if they showed the video that he posted to his social media today with him talking at his home and showing pictures with him hanging out with his family and having the clips of what happened with him and Gunther from last year, because this company put him on a Viking Raiders treadmill for the past 3 months that killed his momentum. It takes work. You can't just say, we're going to take you off the treadmill and it's going to be just the same. No, don't work like that.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but I think Gable is probably the guy that comes out in the end. And I think it does the most for him beating Gunther. I think he gets the most from it than anybody else, any of the other options.
And plus, he said, "I swear to God, I'm winning that title." Like, if a babyface says, "I swear to God," and then doesn't follow through, he's dead. He's DOA. There's no coming back from that.
I think it's gonna be one big night one. Sami, Gable, Andrade, Dominic. Who am I missing here? Bronson Reed, probably.
Yeah, I could say that. Wasn't he on the phone with Adam Pearce before Chad Gable came in?
Yeah,
that was a little tease too.
Stephen.
It's good stuff. enjoy all the teases who's going to wrestle Gunther. Stephen Chamber also mentioning an interesting name who may be coming back at WrestleMania or before WrestleMania. Where's Sheamus in the picture? Will he be close to returning against Gunther?
I don't know what the deal is with him and if he's good to go, but he could fit right in there.
He could. We got Chuck Berries who says, any updates on Big E? Not at the moment.
It ain't good because that was the opportunity last night to do the return. That was the opportunity, and to tease him and Gunther too. Yeah. And nothing happened. That's it. It's the end of the New Day Imperium.
Right now, we're saying Power Driver Finisher, a multi-man match to determine the number one contender on night 1 of WrestleMania, and the winner face Gunther on night 2. This night 2 is going to be stacked. If you have Drew and Seth, you're going to have one of the women's title matches on night 2. You're going to have Roman and Cody.
Of course.
You're going to have Gunther versus the winner of the multi-man matchup, a U.S. title ladder match on night 2.
Yep.
It's going to be the most stacked night 2 ever.
Could be the best.
All right. I will read that super chat. Well, it's about what we just talked about, so I got to show it now. We got a super chat donation from Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will. He says, Andrade looked like he sold 100 pounds of that white girl, a.k.a. the Tony Khan pack. LOL.
He did look like a drug dealer.
He did. He really did, though. He really did, though. I mean, he always looks like a drug dealer, though, to me. So
great look. Very Scarface.
He does look very Scarface, but
sounds Scarface too.
Imperium was in the ring for our next matchup, which was Imperium going up against the New Day in a street fight. And boy, oh boy, did this take me back, because this took me back all the way back to 2024, last Saturday, because I saw another match that I had moderate expectation. I thought it would be good, and it blew me away with just having an over-the-top plunder brawl, which didn't have too much selling. That had less selling. I'm referring to Powerhouse Hobbs versus Sammy Guevara, but this had a lot of no sells of a lot of different moves, but it was so much fun. And I love the New Day coming out with the San Jose jerseys, coming out in the jeans. Anytime they come out in streetwear for a street fight, adds a different touch for me. New Day hit dives ahead of an early commercial break. They fought into the crowd during the commercial break. Then we get Kaiser teasing that he's going for a table, but he puts it back, much to the dismay of the crowd. He then grabs some steel chairs. They start drop kicking the steel chairs into Woods' face. They start nailing both men with the steel chairs. Kingston nails Imperium with a high cross body before body slamming Kaiser into Vinci. Kingston tries to grab a table, but Imperium brought him back into the ring with a double suplex. Kingston dropped Kaiser with a knee strike, but Vinci dropped him with a clothesline. Vinci hit Woods repeatedly with some hard kendo stick shots, man. The kendo stick shots in this matchup were brutal and left a lot of scars and bruises on all 4 men's bodies. Kingston chucked McAfee's leather chair at Kaiser's head, this being a callback to how this feud really started. This was how Kofi got injured a couple of months back, with Kaiser throwing the chair at his head. We had Woods throw the chair at Kaiser and miss, but this time Kingston hits Kaiser in the face with the chair before Vinci is driven into the steel steps. Kingston and Woods, they take turns with the kendo sticks. They start beating the hell out of Kaiser. This felt violent and visceral. This felt like a bunch of revenge for both men in there. You get the tables chant as they get some tables and set them up on the outside. Kingston places Vinci on one of the tables on the outside, and Woods hits a beautiful elbow drop off the top rope to a big, appropriate, huge pop. Woods has him beat. They bring Vinci into the ring and they hit the up, down, down, but Kaiser's able to break up the pin where we only get a 2 count. Kingston hits a suicide dive with a kendo stick on Kaiser. Vinci, who's back up and his back is bleeding at this point, he shoves Kingston off the top rope into the table that he set up. Meanwhile, he then hits Woods with a bacon sheet, and Kaiser capitalizes by driving Woods into a steel chair wedged between the ropes right to his head and rolls him up handful of tights to give Imperium the win here. This match went over 18 minutes, a straight up banger. This was hard hitting, intense. Everything we've enjoyed about this feud was just in one big matchup, the best match of their feud so far. My only nitpick, my only complaint, what the hell were they talking about this feud being 2 years in the making? Like, I know if you look it up, they probably faced for the first time or interacted for the first time 2 years ago. But this has not been a 2-year feud. Let's stop that.
Did he mean 2 months?
Like, come on. Like, they kept saying it. It was annoying. It was taking me out of the action that was really, really good. Stop trying
Then
to
you
come
should
up
have
with
had
a new
video
story.
evidence. You should have had video evidence of why it's 2 years in the making before you saying all that stuff, you know?
They kept saying it. It was like, yo, you're taking me out of it because they've literally been feuding for, I know for sure, 2 months, and y'all never mentioned this.
Yeah. Let me just say hi to my niece. Hi, Aliana. Love you. Brutal match. Oh man, they went to town on each other with them kendo sticks. It was great job by Xavier and Ludwig getting the most of that. Another good job by Ludwig. You mentioned it. When he's taking out the tables, he puts them right back. Like, screw you. Be a heel. Be a heel. Don't give them what they want. Get out of here. They had the crowd in the palm of their hands this whole match with how physical they were. I thought the ending sequence was well. I love you too. Hello. The ending sequence was well done with the Kofi bump through the table, the frying pan or whatever that was, and then throwing Xavier into the chair. All well timed, well done. So really good stuff, and it lived up to the whole feud, which I enjoyed this whole feud. And this was like this should have main evented. What came in the main event had no business being in the main event. Now,
if it wasn't for the post match, then no,
right.
wouldn't have main event.
Listen, I understand. I would have been like, it would have been teasing me, like, oh, maybe Big E's gonna come out if it's in the main event. Yeah. I would have probably been a little let down that he didn't show up. But still, this was just so amazing that this was hard to follow. And Imperium's set up now, because I think you could take the next logical step with them. And can you imagine the night after Mania, the Raw after Mania, Imperium's in the ring, Kaiser and Vinci, they've done their job. They've got their the undisputed tag titles. They've somehow won probably a multi-man match for the tag titles. And Gunther's there, and he didn't do his job. He's the one who failed after getting on these guys.
You're thinking short term, sir. You got to give the moment at WrestleMania to Awesome Truth. But you then have Miz Karma gets Miz 8 years later, where he has a 1-day WrestleMania title run like Zack Ryder got, and he loses the next night to Imperium.
That'd be great.
Awesome Truth gets their moment at WrestleMania, but they lose it the next night.
100%. We took two great things. We fused them together. We are good to go. Triple H.
This is what we do well. This is what we do well. This is what we do. So let's say we're like Ryan Ward and Triple H. This is what we do. It's Ryan Ward and Triple H and
Ryan Ward. That's a name I've not heard in years. Where is that guy? Is he on AEW?
I think he's on SmackDown. Seth says the street fight was great. I agree. Spoiler alert on Match of the Night. I'm just saying. But next up, I believe was a tag team matchup. Oh no, was the Chad Gable segment with he had Pierce on the phone talking to Bronson Reed, and then that's when Gable came into the room. Then you had Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. They had an inset promo saying that they didn't appreciate that Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae got a title shot because Hartwell is from Australia. They told Asuka and Kairi Sane to pay attention to tonight's match because they would make their opponents tap out, and they would do the same to Asuka and Zayn and finally become tag team champions. And they were right. It took about 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 47 seconds, but Kirifuda clutch on Indy Hartwell. Thanks, goodbye. Your push lasted all of your entrance.
Yeah. These women tag matches are just big nothing burgers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nothing to see here, folks. They don't care that much.
Time fellers.
I'm not going to care that much. But next up, we did get something that you could invest in. We got a fun segment. R-Truth was in the Judgment Day's clubhouse when he was approached by Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and The Miz. And
By who?
This was one of the most Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and The Miz, Regeneration X. But this was the most wholesome moment, as Truth thought, he always thinks Gargano and Ciampa are Shawn Michaels and Triple H. He immediately
Cerebral assassin.
But I love what Johnny Gargano said. He said, Truth, you're always cheering people up, cheering them up. So they were going to cheer him up by getting revenge on the Judgment Day. I was like, oh, that's sweet. And they made more references. And Truth says that Ciampa asks Truth, are you ready? And Truth says, what? Right. He says, are you ready? And Truth says, oh, you're trying to regenerate. He says, oh, we are Regeneration X. So we have the birth of Regeneration X, and that is awesome. This was fun. This was fun, and I'm mad that they did the 8-man tag before this segment. This should have been a fun segment to set up the 8-man tag against Judgment Day.
Yeah, and then R-Truth takes the TV, leaves, and TV ain't got no wires. It's the man. It's funny stuff. Old school TV too. Yeah, this is funny. And we're glad to see Miz escape his locker room. I don't know if you guys saw on social media. He was locked in some kind of room and he could not get out, and nobody could get him out. They had to cut a hole in the bottom of the door for him to, like a little puppy door, for him to exit the room so he could even get to this segment. What the hell,
To
man?
be fair, this could have been a pre-tape. True.
That too. Yeah. True. No, but the Are You Ready stuff was funny. Regeneration X. We're definitely getting Regeneration X shirts. That I wonder if Triple H and Shawn get a little cut. I wonder.
I was like, we'll take our cut, sir. Next up, we have the winner of the Elimination Chamber matchup, Drew McIntyre, who is in his all-time true troll mode. This man comes out like he's a baby face. He's slapping hands with the fans in the front row. He starts his promo and says, "We did it." He thanked everyone who put their hands together and prayed for this. He said this happened because of them. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. McIntyre admitted he felt like crap because he got injured. He was in the chamber match first. He was banged up and felt jet lag. McIntyre mentioned that he got his eardrum busted in the matchup, and the doctor told him he was hurt and may have to miss WrestleMania. And you know what Drew McIntyre said to him? Who do you think I am? CM Punk? Nothing's going to stop me making Mania. This man then sits down cross-legged because he's a menace. And he says he knew it hurt Punk to miss Mania and probably killed him to see McIntyre in the world title match at WrestleMania. McIntyre wanted to do something for Punk. He knew Punk was straight edge and didn't drink. So McIntyre drank twice as much on his way back home for both of them. McIntyre called out the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins, because he has something to say to him.
Oh, by the way, did you catch Drew tell the cameraman, "Don't shoot up my skirt, don't be a pervert"?
Yeah, don't be a pervert. Rollins says to McIntyre when he's out, he says, finally, McIntyre has the opportunity to win the title in front of a capacity crowd at WrestleMania, but it was once again Seth freaking Rollins standing in his way. McIntyre said Rollins was right. Rollins was in his way, and he was a hard man to beat, as was McIntyre. That's why McIntyre wondered why Rollins was getting involved with Cody Rhodes, The Rock, Roman Reigns, and the Bloodline. McIntyre wanted Rollins at 100% and suggested that he stop going to SmackDown to fight their battle. He said that he wouldn't piss on SmackDown if they were burning. He said if he was the World Heavyweight Champion. He says when he's World Heavyweight Champion, he's only caring about Raw, and he doesn't care what goes down on SmackDown. McIntyre urged Rollins not to push the Bloodline because we all knew what was going to happen. They'd be having a hell of a match at WrestleMania until the Bloodline interfered to cost Rollins the title and taint his victory. McIntyre urged him to back off. This condescending son of a bitch gonna act like he didn't just take the help of the Bloodline last week.
That's what makes him so great. It's a great heel.
Rollins tells McIntyre respectfully that some risks were worth taking. Rollins has already thought about everything McIntyre just said. Rollins said that his knee may not be 100%. His back might give out in the Bloodline and could make it an easy night for McIntyre.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Drew was right, but maybe, just maybe, he was wrong. Rollins repeated that some risks were worth taking, and he's been selfish in his career and in his life. He thought the goal at the end of the road would fill the void, but every time he got there, he felt empty inside. It wasn't until Rollins had his daughter that he realized that not everything was about him, and the world title was bigger than him and Drew, and so was taking down the Bloodline. Rollins said that it didn't matter if it was he or Drew were the champion because they didn't take down the Bloodline. It was just a matter of time before they were going after the world title. That's a bold-faced lie. Roman said he doesn't care about that shit. They should secure the future of the industry if they ripped apart the Bloodline, and then it would be just Rollins against McIntyre at Mania. And he reiterated some risks were worth taking. Another good promo from Seth freaking Rollins. Another great promo, masterclass of heel work from Drew McIntyre. Really good segment, as we now know it's official. World Heavyweight Championship, Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 40.
You know, it's funny. You know, what's funny about Drew talking all that shit about SmackDown is that probably in a couple of months here, he's going to be the World Heavyweight Champion leading SmackDown, because I bet you they switch champions so that they get the Universal Champion on Netflix going into next January.
You're absolutely right.
Hilarious.
They don't care. They don't care about SmackDown anymore. It's on the USA Network.
And yeah, it'll be a smooth transition because Drew is on USA, so he stays on USA. So I'll bet you'll see a lot of that. But interesting convo between these two. The hypocrisy of Drew was hilarious. What you mentioned with the Bloodline, I wanted a Taters win. It's a good start to their feet. Well, start, put that in quotations, but now that's official.
Continuation.
Yeah, continuation. Yeah. And they're incorporating the Bloodline as well. And Seth swore he has to fight there. And how's it going to affect his feud with Drew and putting all that together? And then he's even like trying to sort of low-key recruit Drew. Like, that's like trying to recruit Loki to join the Avengers. Like, what? This ain't gonna work. Well, you know it's not gonna work.
You know Loki ain't doing this shit. He don't get along with Thor. The Thor
hilarious.
that we established is because of different reasons. But yeah, the beef between Thor and Loki is very comparable to Drew and Jay.
Hilarious. No, but I love it, man. I can't wait to see it going forward.
I agree. We got another super chat donation from Will Chisholm. Thank you so much, Will, once again. He says, Triple H and HBK can't help themselves. They got to grandstand DX, LOL. Of course, they got to get their check too.
Well, you also know my idea. If R-Truth and The Miz win at Mania, they're all celebrating. I need DX out there too to go celebrate with them too.
We just got tired of doing what you do. Of course, he's going to grandstand.
But that would be awkward. Like, if it's a multi-man tag match and then DIY loses, like, are they still going to celebrate with R-Truth and Miz?
Regeneration X, absolutely.
The greater good.
Liv Morgan going one-on-one with with Nia Jax is next. This playing off of Nia's attack on all the women involved in the Women's Elimination Chamber match on last week's show. And this was a very one-sided matchup with Nia Jax taking much of the match. This week would become a theme, one-sided matchups for the final two matches of this show. Liv made a fired-up comeback, getting some kicks, hitting a nice little code breaker for a 2 count. Liv dodged a charge and Nia went shoulder first into the ring post. It didn't matter though because Jax caught Morgan as she dove off the apron and drove her into the ring post. As she was standing around bragging and gloating to the crowd, I immediately said, Becky Lynch is about to come out. And Becky Lynch suddenly appeared and attacked Jax from behind to give us a disqualification and give Nia Jax the win. Lynch slammed Jax's head repeatedly into the announce table, but Nia managed to get herself away. Becky pushed her to the outside and Nia bailed, and the camera focused on a very displeased Liv Morgan in the post-match. When we came back from commercial break, we went backstage to see Becky Lynch approaching GM.
Hold on. Do you still have that picture? The Liv picture? Oh, you deleted it? What is this? Does this shirt say crybaby? What does that say? I can't read it. Her hair's in the way.
Crybaby, that seems appropriate. But backstage, Becky Lynch approaches Adam Pearce and she wants a match with Nia Jax. She said that she wouldn't be able to focus on her Mania match until she ended Jax, and Adam Pearce made it official for next week's show. But that wasn't the end of this segment. Liv Morgan approached and confronted Becky Lynch. Morgan said that she was in the middle of something, but no, she's like, you don't even care about that, do you? She was like, not everything is about you. And stormed off, but it was made official. Becky Lynch goes one-on-one with Nia Jax in a rematch from WWE Raw Day 1 earlier last month. What do you think about this match being set up? What do you think about Liv's comments and the matchup she had with Nia Jax?
The Nia Jax Becky match, it feels like a big match again. It's got a lot of heat to it, and they sure added to it last night. And so I'm down with that. The actual match, that Samoan drop, that first one, I thought Liv was dead. I mean, that's a surefire way to take Liv out. You don't have to worry about it if she's injured. But Nia was good again, playing the dominant big girl, and her being so frustrated. It's wow. So they're saying in the chat, it does make sense. It says cry about it. What a fitting shirt for the Liv Morgan fans to get to buy on WWE Shop. Like
you're just gonna cry about it.
You don't even have to come up with a new shirt for the movement. It's already there. It's already her merch. It's the cry about it movement. There you go. You cry about it. You get your way. Cody set the precedent, and that's how it's gonna be. I love it. It's so fitting.
Liv Morgan was sitting out. Liv Morgan fans are sitting out. Like, all we gotta do is listen to the T-shirt and cry about it. Oh, we got you. Wow. We got you. No worry.
Maybe this was the plan all along. Cry about it. They had the merch ready. Shit. Ain't that great? That is some great merch.
Long-term storytelling, folks. We got another super chat donation here, Romeo, from, of course, Will Chisholm. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will. Will gives us a super chat where he says, Seth is really going around telling the roster there is no tomorrow. If the Bloodline wins at Mania, it plays off the fans' PTSD the fans have if Roman wins again. Yeah, they're really building this up where this is the last chance for them to get the title off of Roman Reigns. There is no tomorrow. They all got to come together. He's trying to get his arch nemesis on their side to take down the Bloodline.
He's going to come after you. What do you think? He's going to be bored. He's going to come after that world title. He's been said he's going to come after. That's another trophy for him on his trophy case.
No. He said he don't care about that shit lately.
The title, the B+ player championship, you know, the
loser bracket title. He don't care about
title. That. Yeah, but it's just one of those things where, like, eventually you just always know it's going to come around.
No, that's that
unification match.
No, and I honestly took that as Seth Rollins. A key part of his character is his paranoia and his
Oh,
he
yeah.
tries to come off like he's better than Roman, but it's quite obvious you have some insecurity towards Roman Reigns.
And he is going to focus all this energy into trying to take out the bloodline, and he's going to lose to Drew. And Cody's going to finish his story. He's going to be champ, and Seth's going to be left there with nothing from focusing all this energy on helping Cody be his shield. Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what sets him off the deep end.
Yeah, leads to his heel turn. Makes sense. All of that makes sense. But but you got that here backstage. We get a very good tease, I thought, because you saw Grayson Waller have an interview with Kathy Kelly along with Austin Theory, and I put the circle here for Paul Heyman in the background because that's where we got the first hint that Paul Heyman was here tonight. Waller talks about how Rhodes disrespected him in his home and attacked his boy Austin Theory, and he did everything he could to stop it. Theory did not look like he believed that. He was buying that shit. Waller said that he would disrespect Rhodes in his house tonight, and the bloodline would pick the bones. Theory did not look happy with Waller throughout this interview here. Any thoughts?
Well, hey, no, not really. I was just so disappointed. Like, this is the main event, but I didn't even notice Paul Heyman at the time until Michael Cole brought it up. So
nice. Michael Cole did pan off to him as he had their condolences to send because we lost a wrestling legend yesterday, Romeo. WWE remembered Ole Anderson, one of the original Four Horsemen, brother of Arn Anderson. This man is a pioneer when it comes to like Jim Crockett Promotions, the NWA. He's an NWA Hall of Famer. I believe he's a part of the Four Horsemen branch that was a part of the WWE Hall of Fame as well. Not the greatest reputation as far as behind the scenes. There's a whole bunch of stories there. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, that's on you. But definitely a legend that has his own legacy, one of a kind. What? Any thoughts on Ole Anderson's passing yesterday?
no, R.I.P. Didn't he and Vince Sr. have beef or something like that?
Yeah. He had beef with a lot of people.
Yeah, they didn't have enough time to do like a video package, I guess, but maybe they'll do one for Friday.
They could. Jackie Redmond was backstage with Jey Uso. Redmond asked if he would rebound after losing last week. Jay said that he would keep being himself, keep being main event Jey Uso. He says he was this close to becoming the IC champion, and every time he came close to something, he came up short. Every time he was trying to win a title and do something positive or bring himself up, he came up short due to a past enemy on Raw or even his own family. This brings in Drew McIntyre to approach Jay, and he says that I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, you deserve this. This leads to a huge brawl between both men, reigniting their rivalry, and then it's announced following the commercial break that it will be Jay versus Drew McIntyre next week on Monday Night Raw. I thought this was a solid segment, although my biggest nitpick, Jay did not look that upset that he got screwed over by his brother or got attacked by his brother. It looked like a minor inconvenience for him.
Should be a banger next week, Jay and Drew. And don't tell me this Yeet has become the new what now. Oh my god. Oh
yes, it has. But am I the only one that let me know in the chat, or you let me know, Romeo. Am I the only one that was bothered by him not like really seeming that bothered by last week?
I don't know. He did mention now. Get, family
barely. He just said family. He didn't even make it like precise on Jimmy. Like that's why I was like thrown off because it felt very much like John Cena just lost the WWE, got screwed over of the WWE title, and then cuts a promo like, "Oh, that happened, but I'm still John Cena. I'm still happy to be here," and that killed John Cena's connection with a large portion of the fan base. And I will go back to someone who's more related to Jey Uso. I think that a lot of people, in a lot of people's minds, they stopped viewing Kofi Kingston as a main eventer the moment he lost the WWE title and was like, I lost the title, that happened, but I'm going to go after the tag team titles. I'm still Kofi Kingston. When you have that attitude as a babyface, when you get screwed over and you don't show that you're not, you're angry, when you don't show anger in the aftermath, it goes a long way to be something that you continue to do that becomes a bigger issue. So that's why I mention it and putting a spotlight on it, because it may be the start of something here.
I guess, yeah. Well, we'll see, because they still got story to tell. Still got weeks to Mania with Jay and Jimmy.
This is true. And I expect Jimmy to get involved in next week's match as well.
Oh, my God. Then maybe it better start picking up after that.
Yeah, like it's just like, yo, please, like, show that you're angry. Like, he showed more anger off of Jimmy screwing him out of the tag team titles than he did for the Intercontinental title.
We're going to see some anger with this next guy in the next segment.
We shall see. Power Driver Finisher says they're brothers. They talked about it the following day over drinks. There you go. We got Emmanuel that says, I thought for a second he wasn't going to mention he got screwed. Yo, it was like
That would have been bad.
a pass, but it was like at the end. Like, oh, I feel like you're giving them credit for at least mentioning it. No, we should not get them credit for at least mentioning it. That's the big thing that happened. That's the capper of the whole entire episode last week. Should have been one of the more important notes from last week. We didn't hear anything about it for 2 hours and 30 minutes of the show. And all we got to follow up was a 30-second promo that set up another match that's probably going to have the same result.
Calm down, SP3. Calm down.
I'm just saying. I get upset when I feel like not everybody is as upset with something as I think.
Why aren't you as mad as me?
Why are you? I get more upset. I'm like, I'm at a moderate level of upset, but you're making me more upset because you seem to be fine with this. This is not fine, people. All right.
I'll give them next week. And then the week after.
All right. Giving them 2 weeks? No.
He's going to get screwed again next week.
All right. Next, we had the main event, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes going one-on-one with Grayson Waller. And this is what I kind of teased with when I was talking about the Nia Jax and Liv Morgan matchup. That was just like the match before this. This was so one-sided. I think I counted on my hand 5 moves that Grayson Waller won. And it was just early portion of the matchup was Cody Rhodes dominating. Then they went to a commercial. And then Cody Rhodes took like 2-3 moves and made his comeback. And there was no cutting off of his comeback, really. He hit like 1 move, and then Cody went right back on offense. Austin Theory distracted him. He got rid of him. Cody hits the Cody Cutter. Crossroads. This was a minor inconvenience at that for Cody Rhodes. I think this is how this match should have been booked, but damn, does it come off as a disappointment in the main event spot. Thankfully, they had some follow-up after it, as we did get on commentary, Michael Cole mentioning that Paul Heyman was seen in the building. I love the fact that they were like, yeah, people might not notice him in the background, so we're just going to say it on.
Yeah, because I didn't.
Exactly.
And so, you know what? And I needed that going into commercial because I was getting bored by the damn main event. Like, hold on. Can I just say what I want to say about the match first? They did put up Grayson's 74 2K rating up against Cody's 93. When you do that, this match can't be competitive. Are you kidding me? That guy's
and they roasted him. They roasted him on commentary.
Cole and McAfee, rightfully so. They clowned it because this had no business being in the main event. So thankfully, they teased something after.
This is an 8-minute match with a commercial break, meaning we only saw 5 minutes of it. Paul Heyman comes out afterwards. Cody Rhodes gets a steel chair as he sees Heyman's with 3 men in suits. Heyman spoke, but Cody cuts him off and says that if this was a bloodline setup to come and get him, Heyman said that he was the only bloodline member there. He says, do you see anyone with Polynesian blood behind me in this lineup? He says the 3 men with him were off-duty NYP officers. Technically, they were on suspension, but that was besides the point. Congratulations to a good friend of the channel. If you want to look it up, you can look it up with the magnifying glass on the homepage. But we did an interview with suspended cop number 2, AJ Kirsch, before.
Wow.
So congratulations to him on becoming a suspended NYP cop and helping the Bloodline. Heyman Cody said he came to San Jose to tell Rhodes that no one was asking for an apology. He knew how insulting it must be to get Will Smith across the face. But Rhodes needed to take The Rock's name out of his freaking mouth.
That's not what he really wanted to say.
Heyman could forgive Rhodes for taking away The Rock versus Roman Reigns, but The Rock could not. Roman Reigns authorized Heyman to tell Rhodes that he could withdraw his challenge against The Rock or else. Rhodes fired up and said that there was a reason he hasn't trashed Dwayne on the mic yet. Like many of us, he was a fan of The Rock. And Cody came from a family where the food on their table came from the number of tickets sold, and there was nobody who sold more tickets than The Rock, but Cody was fed up with playing nice. He says that this was a Bloodline setup. Come and get me once again. Heyman and the 3 officers got on the apron. Heyman wanted to get in the ring, but Cody told him no. The 3 officers entered instead, and Cody warned them that not to get any closer. If they took one step closer, they'd all get dropped. Heyman thought the rule didn't apply to him, and he says that he took one step closer. So Rhodes attacks all 3 men with steel chairs. He gives the black guy the worst treatment, throws the chair at his face, and gives him a crossroad. Way to go, savior of racism! Rhodes then tells Heyman, gets on his phone and says, call Roman Reigns. Then he pulls out a brand new cell phone case that has a Brahma bull on it, and he says, call The Rock. Rhodes tells Heyman to go ahead and call Roman Reigns, go ahead and call The Rock, because the Bloodline wasn't hunting him. He was hunting the Bloodline. Heyman spoke into his 2 cell phones as he backed away. This was really good with a fired up Cody Rhodes at the end and setting the stage for our next chapter in the build to WrestleMania.
The 3 suspended cops. That was kind of awkward. Like, what? What are they suspended for? That's a little weird. The Will Smith reference was great. Paul Heyman was great. The 2 cell phones, main cheese. The best part of it was Cody. He brought believable fire, passion, came across like a badass. He wasn't his normal nice self. Like, yeah, sure, come on in. No, I'm gonna beat your ass if you come in here. I loved it, and to me, it built up anticipation for Friday when we hear from The Rock. I feel like if you're saying you're hunting the Bloodline, I feel like Cody has to show up on SmackDown. I know they want to drag this story out. You know, they got weeks to kill. But if you're declaring I'm hunting the Bloodline, you know where the head honcho is going to be on Friday. I don't know if Roman and the Bloodline are going to be there. Probably not Roman. But you know they're going to be there. So go hunt them, my friend. Go to SmackDown.
The door is open, my friend. Go ahead.
Your threat will be taken more seriously if you actually back it up. And don't just wait for them to come to you.
I agree.
You almost like, doesn't he have to be there? Without them officially advertising it, like he's got to show up at least in the crowd.
I'm afraid he won't be though.
And The Rock has like a bunch of suspended cops around him, like 20 of them.
Will Chisholm with another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Will. He says, I got to ask. We know Seth is number 2 to Roman. Is it the same when it came to Randy being second to Cena? But we know why back then Randy couldn't be a babyface. He felt like an asshole. I think that Seth for the longest time has been number 2 to Roman. But I think that the reason why it's become a very much of a part of his character, his kind of insecurity towards Roman, is because he's not number 2 anymore. Roman's still number one, but he's not number two. Cody came in, and those 3 wins solidified his spot at being the number 2 now. And then you had CM Punk come in with a great deal of popularity, and no one's going to argue that CM Punk's a bigger draw than Seth Rollins. So he's number 3.
Even if he's injured. Because
even if he's injured.
When he was healthy, he was going to beat Seth at Mania probably.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised after all if that was the plan. And then you have to put in account women as well, where his wife and Rhea Ripley are ahead of him. So like I've said it once.
Yeah, Randy had none of that.
Like Randy did not have to deal with that. He never had to deal with a woman being ahead of him. He never had to deal with that. At best, Randy took the back seat. He was always positioned to be number 2, but he took the back seat when Batista was number 2. He also took the back seat when Edge was number 2. But Randy was always in the top 3. Seth is no longer in the top 3. That hurts. That has to hurt your confidence. And I think that the reason that I kind of associate Seth's real life insecurities that may be prevalent in his character on screen.
Yeah, which is why it'll be fun when he turns heel, because he could play into all that stuff. And then he could be the top heel around, besides Drew.
True. We got another super chat donation. Thank you so much, Will Sism. Once again, he says, Cody attacking the cops for justice for our people. The black cop don't count. He's a pig. Oh, come on. Will you
he
stop?
Is suspended. We don't know. He's suspended. Well, what was he suspended for? Who knows? We need to get to the bottom of this.
He was paid off by Kingpin, man. Kingpin got some good people under his payroll. Like, it's not his fault. Black brother was not making that much as a cop. Why we gonna do that? But that brings us to a close on another edition of Monday Night Raw. Romeo, let us know in the live chat. Last call for super chat donations. Last call for match of the night. MVP, LVP, out of 10. What did you give the show? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle for the overall show as well. For me and Romeo for the February 26, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Romeo, out of 10, what did you give the show?
The people in the chat, let's see here. 36% give it a 7, 29% 0 to 6, 25% 8, 11% 9. So mostly it's 7. And I agree, I'm gonna give it a 7.2.
I just give it a flat 7. It was a good show. Yeah, damn. I just realized I gave that Cody Bull Rope match show like a 7 as well, which probably is lower now in retrospect because this is a 7 show. So that makes me real. I feel like I'm doing the star ratings where I have to go back and lower a star rating because I'm like, this match is definitely better than that, but it's not that rating. It's this rating. This is this rating. So now that rating is now this. So yeah, that show is now a 6.5. This is a 7 show. This is a 7 show. And what's your match of the night?
Oh, the Imperium.
Absolutely unanimous there. MVP for the show.
I think Drew's one of them, but I want to also give it to Imperium because that was a hell of a match, and Gunther too, because Gunther seemed like a big, like even more bigger deal coming out of this show because everything centered around that IC title and what we're gonna do with that. They had a lot of segments devoted to that, so all of Imperium and Drew.
Yeah, I'll go with just Imperium for my MVP because they got the big win over the New Day. They look like they could be potential tag team champions later this year. And then also Gunther was a centerpiece in a lot of the storytelling on this show, whether it be Sami Zayn confrontation, the tease in ring with the Judgment Day, whether it be Chad Gable talking about his rivalry with Gunther. So he was a centerpiece in a lot. LVP for the show.
I know you could probably say Grayson Waller, but still, he's in the main event with Cody. He looked bad, but I got to go with someone even worse who's had less time. That's Indian Candice, who just got destroyed. And the push is over. It's just women's tag division's in the mud.
Yes. Women's tag division is definitely in the mud. I go with Indy and Candice as well. Because I said before, why would y'all waste our time giving them this matchup? Y'all knew it was going to be in Australia. Y'all didn't give them any wins on TV. They turn around, give them a title shot because it's in Australia. They lose there. And then the first match back here on TV, you put them on TV where they lose. So you're just saying, like, yo, you just reaffirmed, like, we just gave you that shot because it was in Australia.
Terrible.
That's awful. Match of the night for Steven Chambers, the street fight, MVP, all the teases messing with Gunther, LVP, Candice, and Indy. It seems like a lot of us is on the same page. Romeo, let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they'll see you back on the channel.
For Romeo Anthony, all forms of social media. Next time you see me, probably Sunday night, AEW Revolution. Watch along with me and whoever's not in North Carolina. Not in
Revolution.
Yeah, Revolution.
Revolution.
Watching. So join us for that. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the super chats. Will Chisholm, you're the man. Everybody else, thank you so much.
Will,
As
you know
always.
to come back. We need you to come back. Thursday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be back with AE Ramble with Jimmy Macaram. I'll also be back on Friday. Tentatively, I'm going to say 2:05, 3:05 start for our AEW Revolution preview. Me, Joe Holbert will be there. I'll probably ask if the couple of the fellas in North Carolina will be there. I land in North Carolina around 12. So
Friday?
maybe, yeah, Friday. So maybe take me an hour or so to get to where I'm staying, who I'm staying with, get settled, find my position. So I'm going to say like 3:05. Like 3:05 seems like the right time when we're going to start that. So I'll be there for that. And I'll be here for the flagship podcast. Check out last week's flagship podcast, True Hill Heat 265 with myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and the True Jaw Josh from last Sunday, where we talked about a crazy weekend in professional wrestling, New Japan, TNA, WWE with major shows. Speaking of that, WWE Elimination Chamber Perf review with me and the True Jaw Josh. Our NJPW, the New Beginning in Sapporo review with myself and Tanal is up on the channel right now as well. And I will be dropping this probably tomorrow. I'm not too sure. We're going to be recording tonight. Collision Discourse number 25, reviewing last Saturday's AEW Collision. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. True Hill Heat, sports and entertainment. Go over there. Like I said before, we'll be talking power. We'll be talking some entertainment, talk to some NBA coming soon. So check that out and subscribe. But for Romeo, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been Rated Raw Review number 12 for the February 26, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw. We are signing off until next time.
We want Liv. We want Liv. We want
Live it alone. Live.